Warmest greetings. First, I want to give thanks and praise to the Most High. Give thanks for life. Give thanks to Tony's Barbershop, the Conscious Barbershop, who give us the voice in the community. And it's a great initiative by the great man, Tony. So, I don't know what date it is today. What day is it today? The 4th. Today is the 4th. It's Monday the 4th, 2001. April 2016. You know, so we're gonna make it of history. So in the hot seat we have the great man, brother Jeff. Jeff is someone I know for many years who's helped me to shape my consciousness. In fact, he's the first man, and I'm putting it on record, who talk about Malcolm X, right? And when he talked about Malcolm X, I started to do some research. In fact, Jeff, I think at that time I just had the book of Malcolm X, you know, that time there. It's one of the very first books I read, right? So, how did you spoke about Malcolm X? I got the book after Sunday, but that time there, yeah, I thought Malcolm X started to shape me up, and through you as well. You know, this was in the 80s.
No, this was 91.
91?
I remember it very well.
When you spoke at the Western
African Caribbean Cultural Center.
Yeah, 1991. So, see, I remember, you know. So, we have Jeff here. And Jeff will be touching a little bit about himself. The kind of work he does and what he is about and so forth, yeah? So, Jeff, let people know a little bit about yourself and your organization and so forth, yeah?
All right. Well, I'll start as far back as the beginning where I can. I mean, basically, I was born in a place called St. Anne's in Jamaica.
St. Anne's in Jamaica.
Yeah, little. It's a town, Manique, just outside Manique. Little place we call Fields. You know, it's the usual thing. Parents live when you're baby, come to England. If you make life, father come, mother come a year later, and then them send for me. Right. So I arrived in England about 1975. I come in England, I was living in Birmingham. So when I come in England, we come to meet what, 5 brothers and sisters. So anyway, 6 of us. Right. All born here except myself. So I come, and it's the usual thing, you know, you come to a strange land, alien culture, taking some time, getting used to it. And, you know, big shocks, because it was used to a life of freedom and a life of sunshine and fresh fruits and everything. And you come, and the first thing I noticed when my father come, pick me up, take me up Birmingham, walking on the streets. And the first question I was, why is all the houses joined together? Right. So in fact, when he take me indoors, I look for the door to go in the next house. Because it thought so you can just walk through house to house to house. And I remember going out in the back garden, you have a little garden, and just jump over the next door because I started used to freedom and space. He said, can't do that, you can't do that. I said, why? He said, this little place, I feel that's something. So that was a big shock. So, take time, you know, start school, go to school here, everything. And then, but you know, there was always this yearning in the back of my mind. Left school, start to work with my father. My father's in construction, worked with him for 2-3 years in that. But wasn't satisfied still, wanted to do anything, so went back into education. And in fact, what brought me down to London was to come down to London to attend university. That's what got me down to London.
Oh, to London. So what was you studying?
And I actually came down here to study engineering.
Engineering?
So that's my background. Not many people know that, because many people just know me as a political person. So I actually came to study electronic engineering.
Okay then.
And that's what I studied. Spent 4 years down here doing that. And but during that time, you know, you're searching. You know, you're searching and you're searching, and you're seeing things happening around you in terms of political events happening. You start to ask questions and so forth. And just to say, yes, as like many people, So with my background, yes, it was brought up through the churches
Yeah.
and everything. In my case, I spent a lot of time through the Jehovah's Witness, in fact.
Is it?
That's
Yeah.
why my mother was a fervent
right.
Jehovah's Witness.
Okay then.
So, you know, again, while I was in that, to keep asking certain questions and I'm telling, no man, you just have to accept that. That's how it go. So, through that curiosity, you know, you start read. The area of Birmingham I live in was an area called Spark Hill.
Okay, Spark.
So they had a nice little library. I used to spend a lot of time in the library. And I found myself going into one little section, it must be history, kind of geography, and looking at certain books and looking at books and seeing black people in places like New Papua New Guinea, Gilbert Islands, and you know, just opening my mind and saying, boy, I never black people spread around the world in that kind of way. And then also around that time, I don't remember when Roots hit the scene.
Yeah, Roots.
So when Roots came on the scene, it's like, boy, that trigger all kind of things in me. And I said, yeah, man, I have to find out.
Yeah, boy. Yeah.
So it's just funny, the side of Birmingham I live in was South Birmingham. And really, in terms of consciousness and political, nothing I go on. Nothing I go on. So you go out, apart from going to youth club, and there was nothing. So I actually end up drifting, and people like socialist workers give out there and start reading those kind of papers, and actually end up attending few of the meetings. You know, because I was trying to get in the political arena. Because we never know if they're in a black organization, in a black group. And it wasn't until I started going over to the other side of Birmingham, in an area called Handsworth.
Handsworth, yeah.
And I saw more black people. You start to see a difference. So when you know, reach about 18, 19, you start go out clubs and stuff. Most of the action was happening over that side. So start going over that side, you start getting a different perspective because you're meeting certain people, you're hearing certain things, you're seeing certain things, you're talking certain things. Until one day, I can't remember how exactly it happened. I think I was driving up a place called Heathfield Road. I saw a sign outside about car wash.
Car wash.
So I pulled into the forecourt to have my car kind of washed, and while I'm washing the car, they tell me something. I'm looking at the building because there's something different about this building. Anyway, that was my. I think a few weeks later, I was back in that area. I see them outside again, so I got talking to them. I'm actually go inside. They said, "Come inside, man." So I'm actually go inside the place now. It kind of struck me because the first thing I noticed as I stepped through the door, on the wall on the left-hand side was a picture of Malcolm. And to believe it or not, I didn't know who Malcolm X was at the time, but I see this picture, and it's like a very stunning picture, and then I look to the right, and there's a picture of Garvey.
Garvey.
No, coming from St. Anne's, you would think I would know about Garvey, because Garvey was born St. Anne's behind the neck. I probably just about hear the name Marcus Garvey, but I never knew nothing behind the great guy, you know. So I look straight up on the stairs, was the stairs going straight in front of you, and on the top of the land was the next picture, and it says Asafa Kwame Nkrumah. That time I never knew who Kwame Nkrumah was, but I walk in the room now, and there's another big picture on the wall, Steve Biko. All these people I never knew. And then I had a big kind of case, glass case with books inside. I mean, look, I just see pure black books. So I said, why is this kind of thing? Why is this And then they start to explain to me about...
Whose side was it, Beanie?
It was actually a brother called Mango at the time.
Oh, Mango Beanie to be
Mango was there, and the Mango started to say, yeah man, we do certain things. And then when the Beanie brother come out and say, yeah man, we do quite a few things on here. And then I remember a few days later, I went back, and it was the first time I met Beanie. I see this guy coming down, beret, black jacket. I think it was a Guardian roll up under my arm, Guardian newspaper. But him looked serious. There was something different about this one. So I started to talk to him, and we sit down, and he started giving me a rundown. About the organization. It's still in existence. It's called the African Caribbean Self-Help Organization. And then he started telling me every Tuesday they have meetings, and they invite me to come to the meetings and everything. So we said, yeah. So we come to the first meeting, and I tell you, I never looked back since. You know? After the first meeting I come to, it was just like a discussion around the table. Probably there's about 6, 7 of us sitting around the table and just talking about certain things going on. And they was also doing book studies, reading a book.
Okay then.
And if I remember rightly, I think it was Destruction of Black Civilization that they were going through. Chancellor Williams.
Oh, Chancellor Williams.
Destruction of Black Civilization.
Right.
And like I said, I was hooked. Every Tuesday without fail, I was at that meeting. And I learned more and more, and the more I know, the more I want.
So who was the conducting the meeting? Was it Beanie?
Beanie really the one conducting the meeting.
Okay then.
And then it's like a whole new world began to open up. And then he decided to say, right, this is African Caribbean Circle Organization, which is a Birmingham-based organization, but it's affiliated to a national organization, which is known as the Pan-African Congress Movement.
Okay then.
Yeah, which is a national organization. So then they started to invite me to meetings in other areas. So I started to come down to London, I started to go up to Manchester, I started to go.
So you come to Head Start. That's the Head Start for
I remember the first time I come to London, it was Head Start, 25 West Green Road.
What
that was the headquarters of the PACM in London. You know, and then also they had a base in Wolverhampton, a place called Waterloo Road. I went up there. They had another base in St Anne's, a place called St Anne's in Nottingham. And then another place, Carmore up in Manchester.
Yeah, that was what's the brother?
My brother Barry Edwards.
Barry, yeah.
Became known as Brother Bunsen after a while, and then it's like I just couldn't believe this, and I said, "Man, this is it. This is it." So during that time, you know, I was mostly in London studying. So when I finished my studies now, thinking, what am I going to do? I remember thinking, why, I might see another London or not? Because what if I go on and then some other brothers come down, what the time in the organization, I don't even remember Brother Tagel, Steve.
Yeah, man, Tagel, man.
And them saying, Jeff, they want you back in Birmingham, and you can't stay, you know, you have to come back. I said, why? They said, no, man, we're kicking off one of the programs in the organization, and we need people, you know. So we go back, and two of the programs the organization had that he wanted to start up. One was the housing cooperative, and one was the import-export business. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, man. So they started up the housing cooperative, got that going nicely, and then started the import-export business. And the first product we went after, because in fact, one of the members was in Jamaica, and he came back with a little small little box, peanut punch. Remember the boy who peanut punch off him on? And them said, that's all the rage in Jamaica right now. Peanut punch, peanut punch. So peanut punch
and they mix up the rum thing there.
Mixing the rum, white rum. So I said, man, we have to, this looked like it could sell, so let's contact the company. So when we contact the company, it's a company called Canning, they're actually based in Trinidad. So we contact them and say, we're interested in importing this stuff, so them send one of them man up. Come meet with us. Discuss how much. So them say, alright, let me test it. We'll send a 20-foot container and see how you do with that. So them send us the container, and no lie, within about 2 weeks, done. So when them say that, they say, yeah. So them start, so the import-export business started to kick off. But at the same time, under the same roof at 104 Heathfield Road. So you had the African Caribbean Circle organized, the Pan-African Congress Movement. You also had another group called the Marcus Garvey Foundation. Marcus Garvey Foundation, which was set up as a charity. It's actually a charity. But we like to use the word, it's set up as a rehabilitation organization.
Because you know the funny thing, I met one of the brothers them, you know. But I can't remember the name, but when I was in Jamaica one time.
I'll tell you who it was. Steve.
Oh, you know Steve. Oh, you know what
it was the same Steve. I said, boy, I'm a bit Dougie down there. Dougie, help us unload. And just, I mean, they sent a big consignment down at the time after Hurricane Gilbert and them things. We was doing a big project down in Jamaica. So Steve the same buck you up down
Steve.
So basically that was a lot of things going on. So now the political activities are still going on, because through the Pan-African Congress Movement now, every year they put on a big event called Africa Liberation Day.
Alright.
And also at 20th they put on Kwanzaa. So that was my first came across Kwanzaa. You know? And again, that's an eye-opener. First came across African Liberation Day. When they showed me the history of African Liberation, how it came about, and they showed me this picture, till this day, every time I see that picture, I find it amazing. There was a picture in Hanswood Park, and there was something like 25,000 people
Seriously?
in Hanswood Park.
African Liberation Day?
African Liberation, biggest African Liberation Day ever. And then, when they show you the lineup on the stage,
Ooh, you remember the lineup?
Aswad. I wasn't there because at that time I wasn't involved in the organization. This was 1977.
1977.
I never came on board till about 1987. And Aswad, Misty and Root, Steel Pulse, all them bands them.
So then, was you recording them? You don't know if you recording them time, do you?
Well, I'm not sure. A lot of photos was taken. I've seen the photos. I've seen the photos.
That is history, boy.
And that's history.
Yeah,
There's a guy called Van Bird, famous photographer, still around. Him took the photos.
He's from Birmingham?
I think it's from Birmingham.
Okay.
But those photos right now is still doing the rounds. It's
That's
still
good.
doing exhibition.
That's good.
It's still doing exhibition.
25,
so,
imagine that, man.
like I said, I was hooked because to me this was like a dream come true. I'm at a place. My first African Liberation Day I think would have been about 87. And what was unique about African Liberation Day was that it was bringing speakers from all over the Pan-African world. People flying from America, flying from Africa, flying from the Caribbean. At African Liberation Day I had a great opportunity. I met Dr. Ben, I met Tony Martin, I met John Henry Clark, I met
Henry Clark?
Yep, I met John Henry Clark, I met Dr. Jules Pulcrum, Dr. Layla Africa, you name it. All came from African Liberation Day. Dr. Tony Martin, all of them. So it was just like, to me, you can't get better than this.
No.
Can't get no more better than this. And the icing on the cake was this, when Beanie used to say to me, what are you doing like such and such? And I said, come with me to London. So why? I'm going to meet the ANC. So he just come down, be sitting in a room like this, with delegates from the ANC talking some serious. Wow, meeting these guys from that time. Remember, South Africa was still under their apartheid. These are potential ministers, and you're sitting up and I said, wow. And the kind of caliber people I met now that's went in to be big government prime minister. I couldn't
Don't forget, man, you have people like Al Sharpton. Remember Al Sharpton, man?
That was a nice story when you bring over Sharpton.
Yeah, Sharpton.
Because I remember the day I was actually in London at the time at West Green Road, and his PA, personal assistant, came and says, right. She came like about, I don't know, 3-4 days ahead of him.
Because they know there was some press, there was some bad media, and they wanted.
And I've never seen such an effective marketing campaign as Al Sharpton. Never seen. You know? And the guy come. And when the guy came through Gatwick, you name it, the press was there.
The press was there. But he know for using to
promote himself.
Jeff, you know, sir, we have about 2 minutes left, you know.
But,
so on the part,
if you like.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. So
when it finished,
so what we want to do, right? Jeff, though, at this segment here, it'd be wise just to give out your no, first. Tell us about your favorite cricket team and the West Indies very quickly.
Not yet. We're gonna continue.
Yeah. Alright, so what we do then, right? We cut it there, so then, yeah? Please.
Things I wanted to touch on.
No, but just touch
Africa.
Alright, so so touch a little bit about the just a little bit about African Liberation Day, and he touched a little bit about the people who come over and so. But who are the people who really influence you? There's so many, I suppose, like Al Sharpton and all them. Yeah.
Well, I would say my influences when I came into the organisation. Obviously, I remember the first book. Actually, when I looked at the case, the first book I actually took out and read was the autobiography of Malcolm X. That's the first book I would say I read, and after reading Malcolm, it's like. I then graduated, I put the word graduated onto Garvey. And after reading Garvey, it's like there's so much opens to you. because it takes it everywhere.
Yeah.
It takes it everywhere. And by reading Garvey, I discovered people like Blyden, Edward Will Blyden. I discovered people like Fanon, Franz Fanon, Amy Césaire. And then it took me, by reading Amy Césaire, it took me into the Francophone, so-called Francophone part of Africa, when they started to come across people like Sheikh Anta Diop. They started to come across people like Leopold Senghor, you know, from that sphere. And then obviously once you're in Africa, you're going to come across Amilcar Cabral and Patrick Lumumba and Sakatori and so forth. So at that time, like I'm saying, my world was opening, and I became really and truly what you call an activist. An activist. Yeah. I remember coming down to London, standing outside, I think it was Trafalgar Square, in some meeting with a megaphone in the hand. and really, and that was it. I was totally committed. So through the organization, it gave me an opportunity, and the beauty with the Pan-African Congress movement and African Caribbean Civil Organization was, it's not a case that here's a bit of paper, you sign, you're a member. No. With the African Caribbean Civil Organization, once they said, you're interested in being a member, I said, before you sign up, you have to go under 2 years of training.
Well, what makes sense,
2 years of intensive tutoring before you can call, and at the end of it, you're tested. You know, to call yourself a member. With the PACM, it was 6 months intensive training before I could call myself a member of the PACM. So you see, once you pass through that, you felt equipped to take on the world. You know, you could go and do anything anyway. So through that, and at the same time, we had the Marcus Garvey Foundation, and through the Marcus Garvey Foundation, it took members into Ethiopia, it took members all over Africa, all over the Caribbean, because that was a humanitarian wing. So when something happened, we could rally people and say, look, we need, and then get people there as well. And then, in fact, it was via the Marcus Garvey Foundation that I actually first went to Africa. Because basically, we had an office down in Acre Lane in Brixton.
Okay then.
Yeah, we had an office, Ventura House, that was the same place where the Jamaican Gleaner was based.
Okay then.
We had an office in that building. And through that, we started to develop projects. We developed several projects to do in Africa. We've done projects in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Gambia, Senegal, Niger, quite a few African countries. And it was through that we had a thing in the Gambia to go and do. So while we was getting ready to do it in the Gambia, we actually bumped into somebody down in London. And they say, look, if you're going to the Gambia, you should go into the Senegal.
Senegal.
I said, well, we don't speak French, so we've been lost in the Senegal. And then he said, look, I want to introduce you to somebody. And he went and introduced us to those Senegalese guys. I don't know if you remember one of them, Bass.
Yeah, we know Bass.
Yeah, you remember Bass.
Bass and Nigel. Them close.
It was actually Nigel that persuaded us to go and talk to Bass.
Everything you talk about me know,
because at the time, they used to run a place in Boston Lake.
Yeah, man. But the Pamela's wine bar.
Besides, right, that's it. You know.
You know, man. We know.
So through that, we met Bass, and Bass said, fine.
Yeah.
If you're coming to the Senegal. So I went to the Gambia, we spent a few days, we went over in Senegal, which they meet us, host us, showed us around, and I'm telling you, yes, first time in Africa, I remember, I was like, I don't know if you remember the picture of the Pope when he used to reset the place and go and kiss the ground. When I plane home and I step off the plane, it's like I'm in a different world. I just said, it's like I've arrived. You know, when people say they're dead and gone to heaven, that was that experience. I couldn't remember, I was just thinking, I'm in Africa. That link that's been broken so long, it's back together. I'm in Africa. And it took me about 2 or 3 days for it to sink in. I'm in Africa. So when I went into the Gambia, but the Gambia reminded me a lot of the Caribbean.
So people say
the way it's set up and the way the people. When I went into the Senegal now, it's a different dynamic. Much more business-like, much more. And then through the language thing as well, half the time you're wondering what go on and and everything. But I found it fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And then while I was there, it's funny, because it was just by luck. we were supposed to leave on a Thursday. But by the time we get up and take with time and do that, we missed the ferry connection.
Oh, the ferry connection.
Yeah, but we had to cross the Gambia River. So they say it's too late now, so they got the extra day. So we said, what are we going to do with this day? I said, I keep hearing about this place called Goree Island. We can use it there and go there. I said, yes, so we went to this place called Goree Island. Basically what Goree Island is a small island just off the coast of Dakar, Senegalese, Senegal capital, which was a holding port for the slaves. When they take the slaves off the mainland, they used to bring them to Goree Island, process them, hold them, and ship them from there.
All right. So it's something you hear about from time, yeah?
Oh, yeah. You hear about it. So we went there, and it's actually now what you call one of them UNESCO listed preservation site because it's so historically important.
Okay.
So went to Goree Island, man. Had the tour coming back. And in fact, why this is so sweet and relevant, that was where I met my future wife.
Yeah, but we know.
I actually met her on the ferry coming back from Goree Island.
Oh, even on the ferry coming back?
And the ferry coming back, we started talking
you
to
the girls,
we just exchange quickly. They always give me a card. Never thought nothing about it. And later in years to come, that's how it started. So that's why Senegal has special memory
for you.
Special memory for me. But it was fascinating. But before I went to Senegal, it was actually me, same name I mentioned, Tagel, you know, Brother Umajuak, Maziko. My brother Kent. The four of us actually set up, was doing little business. Brother Kent.
Kent.
And we was actually working in Tanzania. So we were sending over things to Tanzania and bringing things back.
Because Teranga, Steve used to go there all the time. Guys go there
that was his side of Africa. My side was the west, his side was the east. So we were doing a lot of work in Tanzania, you know, and then, you know, and all thanks to the organization. All thanks to this organization. So, bringing it more up to date, like I'm saying, the Pan-African Congress movement now is an organization that's still going. It's still going strong. You remember one time the London branch was the biggest. Because at the time in London, you remember we were through West Green Road.
West
Green Road, and we've been doing a lot of things. One of the things it prided itself on is African Liberation Day, that since it started African Liberation Day in 1975, it's never missed a year. So this year is the 41st year of African Liberation Day. In fact, for the 40th anniversary, we had a big last year we brought over Dr. Umar Johnson. You know, and attendance was fantastic, fantastic environment. This year, for everybody listening, we're bringing over Zaza Ali. And she's an up-and-coming sister in the States. You know, if anybody knows Professor Griff, she'll be around that kind of circles.
Because she's got quite a few stuff on YouTube.
She's got a lot of stuff on YouTube. You just type in Zaza Ali, you see a lot of stuff on YouTube.
Okay then. So in terms of we are today, because I know you're still politically involved, and I know you're doing some stuff. I used to work at Pepperkite place at the Martin Centre, right? Just let people know exactly what's taking place there.
Okay, the quick history about the Martin Centre. The Martin Centre basically came around when Pepperkite, which is a stalwart in the community, has been around for many years. In fact, I would say the Pan-African Congress movement, he was one of the founder members. So was Brother Beanie. So was Brother Cesar Gotsmore.
Cesar Gotsmore as well?
Yeah, Cesar Gotsmore was one of the founding members. There's a brother called Berenge from Nottingham. He now resides in Africa. He's another founder. There's Sister Adassa. There's Sister Miami from Wolverhampton. There's Brother Tenny, who now resides in Florida.
Who's the tall big brother there? From Nottingham. What's his name? Arnold.
Yeah, Brother Kwame.
Kwame name,
Kwame now, all those guys. It was great thanks to them because they started the whole thing. And that actually came out of the 6th Pan-African Congress in Dar es Salaam in 1974. It was called the Pan-African Committee up until 1977 when it became the Pan-African Congress movement. And since then, a lot of those guys are still involved, they're still around.
You know something, we're glad to have this on record, there's some history information.
And they're still around. Like I said, when I came on board, I'm glad they started because it's something I just came into ready and I could just function and develop within it. And the Art Centre comes into the picture now that Brother Pepperkite who for years was based at 25 West Green Road, Head Start Bookshop. Actually acquired that place, actually, you know, for his book distribution, because he's actually the largest black book distribution in the whole of Europe, easily.
Yeah, by far,
easily. Right, and then you see, it's quite a sizable building, so we decided to make it more of a community-orientated place, so it became the art centre. So the whole idea is to have it as a venue where the community can come, the community can use, and it's also the London base of the Pan-African Congress movement.
Okay.
That is based there. And you can see, obviously, the building needed a lot of repairs, So slowly but surely, it's coming on. It's taking time.
Looking quite
because just finance, going and everything. But now that is getting there. It's getting there. The whole idea, because if you look around the community, sadly, what you're seeing, a lot of the buildings and venues that the African community had, they're losing them rapidly. So the council is pulling buildings back off, cutting funding and so forth. So it's imperative, because one of the motto when I joined the organization, especially the African Caribbean, they had the word self-help. And they've always used that about look to ourselves and helping. That's why I said when they kick off the housing program, that was the whole idea behind it. We used to run a club. They ran a club, which was the means by generating the funds, called the Ubuntu Wabantu Club. It's actually Swahili for the Black People's Club. You know, and that was how we managed to generate a lot of the money to start a lot of the projects.
Yeah, because a couple of times I've been down to Birmingham where they go to the 104 Heathrow. And they keep
everybody knows it as 104.
Yeah, 104. Yeah,
everybody knows the 104.
Been to the couple of downs down there.
That's the same place. That's the place. So the whole idea of the Art Centre now is just become a beacon in the community where a lot of things can happen. You know, because PACM is 41 years old. African Caribbean is actually, I think this year it's actually started in 1964. The African Caribbean Civil Organization is still going.
Okay then.
It's, you know, so over the years they've had many links into different organizations, even into different governments. So when it comes to contacts and link, you name it, we have it in the African world, in the Caribbean world. So it's to have a venue where we can bring through a lot more people, that people in the community can meet them and interact with them, and practice Pan-Africanism in its trueness. You know, because Pan-Africanism basically means whole, African world together.
I just want to jump in here because you mentioned Cecil Cosmo. It's quite a few people you mentioned. I like you to, because of time, might have to get through. But mention man like Cecil Cosmo, because I didn't know Cosmo was part of the...
Yes, well, Cecil Cosmo was actually one of the founding members.
Yeah, but let's about Cosmo and whom is it about?
And Cosmo, actually people know him as a historian. You know, for many years he was resident at University of the West Indies in Jamaica, the Mona site, and he's a professor of history.
He was my first teacher because I was going to Head Start as a boy, you know.
And he kicked off the study groups at Head Start every Sunday.
Every Sunday,
It was him that started it off.
You start about history.
And then through Cecil Cosmo, then you had people like Femi Biko came along, and I attended many lectures by that time. Femi Biko was teaching. And then through Femi Biko, the other spin-off, nice spin-off of Femi Biko, as you can see, it's a continuation. We threw up Robin Walker. You see? And on and on and on. And so it goes. So you can see, thanks to movements like this, but you know, and that's why it's so important to keep movements like this alive, because it's important to have that historical perspective and current, that the link is that we can interact with our brothers and sisters on the continent, in America, in the States, wherever we are. There's a content linking and interacting, because that's where our strength comes from. And in fact, this year ALD, we have reached out even into the South Pacific, because we'll be having Brother Benny Winder from West Papua. We know the trials and tribulations that's happening in West Papua now, with the Indonesians have occupied occupied that territory for years.
Is what's name involved? What's his name? Juliet.
Yes.
Juliet's
involved with that movement. So you can see it's, and that's the aim of the Pan-African Congress movement, to reach out and bring people where people can come and interact with them, disseminate information as much as possible.
Yeah.
And to get people to know themselves.
In fact, it would be nice to get Judah to do something for her, because she's got a lot of information in that particular that kind of work there. How much time we have left? About 2 minutes, Brethren? 3 minutes? Watch out. Give out your email address and contact for people who want to contact in terms of want more information about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you want more because the national group, like I say, is a Pan-African Congress movement. There's an email address, and it's basically panafricancongressmovement@gmail.com. You can also link into us from Facebook, which is facebook.com/PACM2015. We also trend on Twitter, which is twitter.com/PACM_UK. And we also run a YouTube channel. Which you can just go to YouTube, just type in PACM UK, and it will come up. And the beauty about YouTube channel, you get footage going back many years of past events that the PACM has put on.
Say that again, the YouTube character. Say it again. Say it again one more time. YouTube channel.
Yeah, the YouTube channel. You just go to YouTube. You type in PACM UK, all one word.
All the events will come up from the last.
Yeah, and then the site will come up.
The
site will come up, and then from the site you'll be able to see a lot of past events and current events and many things what we're doing. And just to end, it was a great privilege recently to have hosted Julius.
Yeah.
And you can see Julius Memo is now the most fervent guy in South Africa, and if everything goes to plan, you can see he become a future president of South Africa.
Okay.
And when he came, I like what I heard, I must admit.
Okay then. So first, I want to give thanks. Give thanks for Jeff to take us bit, but definitely mean it again and again because we don't done this thing yet. So give thanks. Peace.
Yes, and thanks again, Dougie.
Yeah.